Now, being a Christian, as I tell so many people, is the hardest vocation that anyone can have. It is the hardest, most difficult vocation that any soul can have, to know Christ and to love Christ. And then on a whole nother level, to stand up and speak out for the truths that are contained in the Word of God. It's hard. And it gets ugly. It gets ugly. Last night, and not just last night, but in my 40 years as a Christian, standing up for the gospel, standing up for the whole counsel of God, not just the parts that are good and easy to be absorbed. But there are certain aspects of the scriptures which so many people refuse to address. And they would rather equivocate because they don't want to deal with the hard subjects. They don't want to deal with the hard subjects. For some reason, and I'm thankful that God has given me a heart and a desire to speak without fear. And there have been many things in my life, as I'm sure many of you can say of your own lives, that have made us fearful. Many things. The fears that come with loss. The fears that come with success. The fears that come with internal weaknesses that keep us from being profitable spiritually and materially in this world. But I'm going to tell you, believers, something. I'm going to tell you something. MFGC, glad to have you here. It has been a while. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to tell you something. All my life as a Christian, I have been every bit as vocal as I am right now. And I intend to be every bit as vocal, if not more, than I am right now in the future, until the very day that the Lord snatches away my last heartbeat. Until he snatches away my last breath. And what I want to do is encourage every believer to do the same. To do the same. And God has put it upon us all to be heralds, to be messengers, to carry the clarion call for Christ to the world, and to make them understand that this thing is real. As late as last night and even today, there's not a day where so many people, a variety of people, have called me a narcissist, have called me arrogant, have called me proud, prideful, have told me that I have no compassion, have told me that I lack humility. And I've been hearing this for 40 years. Now, one thing that is rarely said to me, in spite of all of these castigations. They can tell me I am arrogant, I'm proud, I lack compassion, I'm not humble, I'm not this, I'm not that. But what I rarely hear is that I'm wrong. That's not a statement of arrogance. And it doesn't mean that in those circumstances that I'm always right. But what it does mean that is, for the most part, even if I am wrong, it is very rare for somebody to be able to point it out. Because we as Christians, as believers, are generally absent when it comes to doing our due diligence in the Word of God. When it comes to being into the Word of God in a much deeper way, to where it's not just this surface understanding. And this is before we even talk about why we don't do the things that we ought to do. Somebody asked the question, can you understand why modern secular people think it's just mythology? A guy named Weirdo Police said that. Yes, I can definitely understand that. I understand what this person is saying. I do understand why so many people view Christianity the way that they do. And the reason why they view Christianity the way they do is because, for the most part, today, in this modern society, we are a bunch of idiots. We believe things without knowing why we believe them. And because we haven't done the homework, it is pride that makes us want to answer questions and speak without being informed, without being diligent in our understanding of the Word of God, and applying these things in such a way where we can present them systematically. We know that we can take anything out of the Bible and create any doctrine that we want. Anything. But what our job is to do as believers, like this person Weirdo Police says. He says that he just read the Bible and saw mythology. He says he guesses that it's just him. No, it's a lot of people. Because Christians, when Christ came, he came to demystify the truths of the gospel. He came to demystify all of the secret things of the Lord that God has revealed to us. And what are we doing as a community? We're adding on, dogpiling on, and making it seem even more mystical.